Tonight, something in the sky changes everything. The supermoon of November 5th, 2025 isn't just another phase, it's a signal. Across every culture and prophecy, this alignment has been called the awakening point, the night when destiny resets and hidden doors begin to open. If you've been feeling restless lately, unable to sleep, sensing energy shifts, noticing repeating numbers, you're not imagining it. The universe has been preparing you for this moment. This supermoon is said to carry 7 coded frequencies, each unlocking a different kind of miracle: love, clarity, wealth, healing, purpose, peace, and power. But here's the truth most won't tell you. When miracles appear, chaos comes first. Because before light reveals you, darkness tests you. And this time, that test won't be gentle. The energy that rises tonight will either activate your highest timeline or shatter every illusion still holding you back. So listen carefully. What happens in the next few minutes may not just explain your past, but rewrite your entire future. Because once this supermoon peaks, nothing will ever be the same again. The supermoon rising on November 5th, 2025 is not a random event. It's a cosmic signal, a direct pulse from the higher dimensions of energy that shape reality itself. When the moon reaches its closest point to Earth, its gravitational and energetic pull amplify human emotion, intuition, and manifestation power. You might feel a sudden rush of energy, mood swings, or even the urge to let go of things that no longer serve you. That's not chaos, it's calibration. For the next 72 hours, every cell in your body begins to realign with a higher vibration. Your sleep may grow lighter, your dreams might turn vivid or even prophetic. Your mind could drift into deep reflection, and your body may respond with chills, heat waves, or moments of stillness you can't explain. This is the moment the universe fine-tunes your internal frequency to match your next level. Every heartbeat begins syncing with a greater rhythm, the rhythm of destiny unfolding. It's the start of what ancient mystics called the call of the light, the moment when ordinary people begin to sense the extraordinary moving through them. If you've felt disconnected or uncertain lately, this energy serves as your bridge back to alignment. It reminds you that the delays, detours, and doubts weren't punishment, they were preparation. The supermoon doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for presence. It asks you to stand still and listen, because the messages arriving now aren't random thoughts. They're transmissions. You may notice numbers repeating: 1111, 222, 333. These are not coincidences, but confirmations that your timeline is shifting. When that happens, people often experience a strange mix of peace and pressure. The peace comes from recognizing truth. The pressure comes from realizing how much needs to change to live that truth. That's where transformation begins, in the space between who you were and who you're becoming. And this supermoon energy accelerates that bridge. It's like a mirror reflecting the deepest corners of your soul, your fears, your hopes, your forgotten dreams. It shows you what's been holding you back, not to shame you, but to set you free from it. The more you resist, the more turbulence you'll feel, emotionally, mentally, even physically. But once you surrender, a calm wave takes over. The moment you accept that this shift is happening for you, not to you, everything begins to flow effortlessly. Many will call this coincidence or imagination, but those who feel it know it's real, because their intuition sharpens, their senses heighten, and their decisions start aligning perfectly with divine timing. You'll notice that you begin meeting the right people, discovering hidden opportunities, and feeling guided by something greater than logic. That's the mark of alignment. The supermoon acts like a tuning fork for the soul. It vibrates through your energy field, clearing out what no longer resonates. The old patterns start to collapse quietly. Toxic cycles, draining habits, and emotional clutter dissolve under its light. It's a cosmic cleanse disguised as chaos. This is the opening act of transformation, the gentle but undeniable call that your old reality is fading and a new one is emerging. It doesn't happen overnight, but under this lunar energy, it begins. And once it begins, it doesn't stop. You'll feel guided to make decisions you've avoided. You'll sense clarity in situations that once confused you. And you'll realize that the universe never stopped speaking. You just learned how to listen again. The call of the supermoon isn't something you chase. It's something you answer. And when you do, the vibration of your entire life begins to rise, naturally, powerfully, and permanently. Because this isn't just another full moon. It's the moment your soul remembers what it came here to do. Every rebirth begins with something breaking. Before the crown is placed, the kingdom inside you must first be cleared. In the days surrounding this supermoon, you may notice life pulling things away from you. People, plans, habits, or even entire paths you once thought were permanent. It can feel like everything stable is suddenly dissolving. But this is not punishment, it's purification. When destiny begins its final activation, anything that doesn't align with your higher purpose starts to fall apart. The energy that once held your old reality together can no longer sustain you. You might wake up one morning and realize certain relationships feel empty, conversations drain you, or goals that once motivated you now feel meaningless. It's not that you've lost passion, it's that your vibration has outgrown what once matched it. This stage is called the collapse before the crown, the phase where everything untrue must burn away to reveal the truth beneath. It's uncomfortable, confusing, and often lonely, but it's also sacred. The universe dismantles your comfort zone so it can rebuild your destiny zone. It's like standing in a house that's being renovated. The walls come down, the dust rises, and for a moment, everything looks worse. Yet behind that chaos, structure is forming, stronger, clearer, and divinely designed. During this time, you'll notice emotional waves: nostalgia, grief, anger, exhaustion. Allow them to move through you without resistance. Emotions are not signs of weakness. They're indicators that energy is shifting. When you let them flow, you free space for new light to enter. Some people might suddenly leave your life without explanation. Others may misunderstand your silence, thinking you've changed. And they'll be right. You are changing. You are no longer resonating with small talk, with chaos disguised as connection, or with situations that demand you shrink to fit in. When your energy rises, detachment becomes natural. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop proving and start becoming. You stop begging for alignment and start living it. That's when the first miracle quietly unfolds. Clarity. Not the kind of clarity that comes from thinking, but the kind that arrives like a download. Instant, pure, undeniable. You begin to see why certain doors had to close, why delays protected you, why silence was guidance. This understanding feels like air after drowning, a sudden, weightless knowing that everything truly happened for you. The collapse wasn't your downfall. It was your rise in disguise. Your mind will still try to fight it at times. It'll want to hold on to old identities, memories, or comfort zones. That's natural. The human self clings to the familiar, even when it hurts. But your soul knows that comfort never creates change. Transformation demands release. Think of it as a forest fire, clearing the ground for new growth. It looks destructive from the outside, but beneath the ashes, seeds are awakening. Seeds that couldn't have sprouted in crowded soil. Your breakdowns are clearing room for breakthroughs. And when the dust settles, you'll realize something extraordinary. You didn't lose anything essential. You only lost the illusions that kept you small. There's a sacred pattern in this process. Endings come in threes. First, emotional endings, when you stop reacting to old wounds. Then, physical endings, when situations and people naturally fall away. Finally, energetic endings, when you no longer carry what used to define you. Once all three align, the field of destiny clears, and into that cleared space flows the light of creation, inspiration, new purpose, divine timing. Suddenly, opportunities appear out of nowhere. Synchronicities become normal. Peace replaces confusion. This is the crown forming. Not a symbol of power over others, but power within yourself. The power of calm amidst uncertainty, faith during silence, and grace through loss. The first miracle isn't about gaining, it's about releasing. Because the universe doesn't give new blessings to hands still holding old burdens. It waits for emptiness, the kind of emptiness that makes space for abundance. When you finally accept that collapse is part of creation, a quiet strength begins to rise. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start realizing, "This is happening for me." That shift, from resistance to trust, marks the exact moment your rebirth begins. And in that stillness, you'll feel it, the invisible crown settling on your energy. Not because you earned it through struggle, but because you remembered who you were before the struggle began. The collapse. Before the crown is not the end of your story. It's the moment you realize you were never losing your power, you were reclaiming it. When the supermoon reaches its brightest point, the pulse of the universe syncs with the rhythm of every living soul. It's as if time itself pauses, takes a deep breath, and decides which direction your story will travel next. At that moment, two currents move through reality. One keeps you looping in the old, fear, hesitation, self-doubt. The other carries you forward, clarity, momentum, and effortless alignment. Both exist side by side, and the energy you choose to embody decides which one becomes your timeline. This is the mystery of divine timing. It isn't about luck or coincidence. It's a sacred choreography between your readiness and the universe's rhythm. When the two move together, everything unfolds with astonishing precision. Meetings, opportunities, even accidents reveal themselves as perfectly timed miracles. For many, this stage begins with subtle signals. You might glance at the clock and see 11:11, 2:22, 4:44, each number a coded message, reminding you that higher forces are adjusting your path. Dreams become vivid, sometimes showing faces you haven't seen in years or scenes that feel more real than waking life. Messages arrive through people, songs, or sudden memories that seem to whisper, "Pay attention." These are not random echoes. They are checkpoints. They mark moments when your vibration rises enough for the universe to communicate directly. Every sign you notice is proof that you're inside a conversation larger than words. At first, the pattern feels mysterious. You ask yourself, "Why now? Why me?" But the more you lean into awareness, the more the puzzle assembles itself. You start connecting events that once seemed unrelated. The missed call that led you to a new opportunity, the delay that kept you safe, the heartbreak that redirected your purpose. This is the second miracle. Recognition. It's the moment you realize the universe was never silent. It was always speaking through alignment. You simply learned how to listen. Recognition changes everything. Once you understand that timing is intelligent, you stop forcing doors to open. You begin to trust pauses instead of fearing them. You rest when life slows down because you sense preparation happening behind the scenes. The anxiety that once consumed you dissolves into quiet confidence. Then the third miracle begins. Acceleration. As soon as you surrender control and align with timing, reality starts to move faster. Opportunities appear without struggle. People arrive at the perfect moment, and events synchronize with breathtaking precision. You feel as though invisible hands are rearranging your world to match your vision. This acceleration isn't chaos, it's orchestration. Every element that once felt delayed suddenly catches up. Emails you were waiting for, money that was held back, doors that once refused to open, all start moving towards you in sequence. It's as if the universe had been queuing them up, waiting for the exact vibration of readiness to release them. In this phase, trust becomes your greatest skill. You no longer measure progress by effort alone, but by harmony. How well your inner state matches the outer flow. You begin noticing that when you act from pressure, things scatter, but when you act from peace, everything lands effortlessly. That awareness marks your graduation into conscious creation. Divine timing stops being a mystery and becomes a partnership. You take inspired action, then allow the rhythm of life to handle the rest. You start living in co-creation instead of control. For the chosen ones, the souls sensitive to energy, this alignment feels physical. There's a calm in the chest, a certainty behind every decision, and a subtle hum of power in ordinary moments. You might wake up feeling lighter, notice synchronicities stacking one after another, or sense that unseen forces are guiding your every step. And they are, because once you align with divine timing, you enter what mystics called the golden corridor, a frequency where intention and manifestation travel at quantum speed. Thoughts materialize quickly, guidance becomes clear, and obstacles dissolve before they solidify. Still, there's discipline required. Acceleration tests your focus. You must stay rooted in integrity, gratitude, and awareness. Otherwise, the same speed that delivers miracles can amplify distractions. That's why the universe often balances sudden growth with moments of silence, to remind you to breathe between breakthroughs. The return of divine timing is not about predicting the future. It's about remembering your role in shaping it. When you learn to dance with time instead of fighting it, destiny stops being something that happens to you and becomes something that unfolds through you. This is the essence of the second and third miracles. First, the awareness that you're part of a divine schedule. Then, the empowerment to move within it consciously. Look back at your life. Every delay, every loss, every detour led you to this exact point under this exact supermoon. None of it was random. It was choreography. As the light of the moon reflects across the world, it mirrors the same truth within you. Everything is connected, and nothing has been wasted. From this point forward, every choice, every heartbeat, every breath becomes aligned with perfect timing. The moment you understand that, you stop chasing miracles, because you realize you've already stepped into one. Right before a major breakthrough, the air grows heavy. It's that strange silence before the storm, when everything seems to pause, waiting to see if you'll hold your ground or run back to safety. This is the shadow test, the moment every chosen one faces, before destiny unfolds. It comes disguised as chaos, a fight with someone you love, a sudden setback, a flood of doubt that hits out of nowhere. You might lose sleep, feel anxious for no reason, or sense that something is trying to pull you backward. That's because the closer you get to your miracle, the louder your old fears scream. The shadow test isn't sent to destroy you. It's meant to prove that you've changed. It's life asking one question: will you respond the old way, or rise in the new energy you've been preparing for? Every great transformation crosses this dark threshold. When the light inside you grows stronger, the parts of you that once survived on fear begin to dissolve. But before they leave, they fight to stay. They whisper doubts like, maybe this isn't for you, or what if you fail again? These thoughts are not prophecies, they're echoes of a version of you that's already fading. During this time, emotions can surge and memories resurface. You might replay old mistakes, relive heartbreaks, or feel a strange pull toward the comfort of the past. It's tempting to interpret that as a sign to stop, but in truth, it's proof that the old timeline is collapsing. The fourth miracle begins the moment you choose awareness over reaction. Instead of falling into the storm, you start observing it. You realize that the fear isn't real, it's residue. You begin to understand that peace is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to stay centered inside it. This awareness opens the heart. You stop asking why life is testing you and start asking what it's trying to teach you. That subtle shift is the miracle itself, the birth of emotional mastery. It's the point where pain loses its power to define you. Once you pass that inner threshold, the fifth miracle awakens: empowered faith. Faith isn't a wish or blind optimism, it's an unshakable knowing that what's meant for you can't be taken. You start trusting divine timing even when logic can't explain it. You learn that not everything delayed is denied. Sometimes it's delayed because it's being perfected. In this space, you begin seeing your challenges as mirrors instead of enemies. The betrayal teaches you boundaries. The loss shows you resilience. The loneliness trains you to hear your own intuition. Suddenly, you realize nothing was wasted. Every struggle carried sacred information. As this understanding deepens, fear no longer controls your narrative. You respond with calm instead of panic, gratitude instead of anger, and presence instead of avoidance. That's when alignment locks in, not because the world changed, but because you did. The shadow test always comes before elevation. It's the universe clearing the last traces of self-doubt before you walk into a higher timeline. It demands that you trust yourself fully, even when nothing outside you seems stable. And when you pass it, when you keep your heart open through the uncertainty, you realize the darkness was never your enemy. It was the weight training for your light. You emerge from it lighter, clearer, and stronger than you've ever been. The noise fades, the confusion dissolves, and all that remains is truth. The steady pulse of faith, beating louder than fear. That is the moment destiny bows in recognition. Because you didn't just survive the shadow test, you mastered it. There comes a moment after the darkness and the testing when the energy shifts completely. It's sudden, almost invisible, but unmistakable. One morning, you wake up and something feels different. Lighter, clearer, aligned. It's as if the air itself carries intention. You think of someone and they reach out. You imagine a possibility and a door appears. You speak and reality begins to move around your words. This is the sixth miracle, the portal of instant manifestation. It opens when your vibration finally matches gratitude. Not the surface kind of gratitude that lists blessings out of habit, but the deep, cellular gratitude that comes from understanding every loss, delay, and detour had a purpose. When your heart reaches that state, creation no longer requires effort. It becomes response. The universe mirrors you instantly because there is no longer resistance between your desire and your belief. The energy that once leaked through fear and doubt now flows directly into manifestation. You stop asking for things to appear someday, they begin to arrive now. At this stage, time bends. Things you thought were far away move closer. Conversations unfold in divine sequence. Money, opportunities, and signs seem to come out of nowhere, but deep down, you know they were always circling you, waiting for permission to land. Manifestation has always been instant. It's human alignment that takes time. When your mind, heart, and actions finally operate as one, you step into quantum creation, a field where intention and outcome exist together. You begin noticing the subtle rhythm behind everything, how your emotions signal your next creation, how gratitude amplifies what you love, and how fear slows what you're trying to attract. It's a living dialogue with reality, and you are finally fluent in its language. This stage doesn't reward effort, it rewards clarity. The clearer your energy, the faster your results. That's why this portal doesn't open for everyone. Not because it's exclusive, but because it requires truth. You cannot fake alignment. You cannot manifest peace while holding resentment, or call in abundance while secretly expecting lack. The portal of instant manifestation responds only to authenticity. It listens to what you really feel, not what you pretend to believe. If you've healed your wounds, faced your shadows, and stayed faithful through uncertainty, the universe recognizes that frequency instantly. You've proven you can hold light without breaking, and now the reward is flow, effortless, abundant, real. In this state, you become a magnet. People sense your energy before you speak. Situations rearrange themselves to meet you halfway. You don't chase what you want. It moves toward you with precision and speed. But manifestation at this level also carries responsibility. Because your words carry more weight, your focus becomes sacred. Every thought plants a seed. Every feeling sets momentum. You begin choosing your language carefully, your emotions intentionally, and your energy consciously, not out of fear, but out of respect for the creative power you now command. The more you live in gratitude, the more life rushes to give you reasons to stay there. It becomes a loop of creation, a continuous cycle of giving and receiving that accelerates with every moment of awareness. And that's when you realize the truth. The real miracle was never that you could manifest things. It's that you could become the kind of person who no longer doubts they deserve them. The portal of instant manifestation isn't a place in the sky. It's a state of consciousness, a vibration of peace so pure that the world can't help but rearrange itself around it. You are no longer asking for signs. You are living as one. When the light of the supermoon begins to fade, something inside you doesn't. It's as if the glow of the sky has moved inward, into your chest, your breath, your awareness. The energy that once surrounded you now is you. The storm is over. The noise fades. The questions stop echoing. And in that silence, something extraordinary happens. The new you wakes up. It doesn't arrive with thunder or lightning. It comes quietly, in the calm, after the transformation, when your soul whispers, "This is who I was always meant to be." Every challenge, heartbreak, and delay now makes sense. The pieces that once felt random align into a perfect pattern of divine timing. You see how every closed door redirected you toward the real path. The pain didn't destroy you, it redesigned you. This is the moment you realize you've crossed the threshold. You're no longer searching for alignment. You are alignment. You don't chase signs. You attract them naturally. You no longer ask if you're chosen. You know it in your bones. The old identity, the one built on fear and waiting, dissolves completely. In its place stands someone unshakable, calm in chaos, grounded in truth, awake in purpose. You've become a living frequency of what others only talk about: transformation. That's why people start noticing a shift around you. They can't explain it, but they feel it. The quiet confidence, the peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, the presence that carries light, even in shadow. You've turned your scars into signatures of strength. This is not the end of your story. It's the opening chapter of a higher life. The supermoon didn't give you power. It reminded you of the power you already had. It stripped away everything false so that what was real could finally lead. From this moment on, you live differently. You move slower, but with greater purpose. You speak less, but with more truth. You stop forcing outcomes and start allowing flow. And as you do, destiny starts moving toward you. Faster, clearer, louder. Miracles no longer appear as surprises. They appear as confirmations. Every synchronicity, every coincidence, every perfect timed message, all of it is proof that you're in rhythm with something infinite. This awakening is permanent because it's not based on hope. It's based on remembrance. You've remembered who you are: light wearing skin, energy with intention, spirit in motion. You've remembered that endings were never punishment. They were upgrades. You've remembered that waiting was never delay. It was preparation. The supermoon closes its cycle, but its imprint remains within you. You are the continuation of its energy, walking, breathing, and expanding in real time. The world will notice the glow before you do. That subtle aura of purpose that follows you into every room. And whenever fear tries to return, it won't find the same version of you, because that version no longer exists. You've been rewritten by light itself. This is the final miracle, becoming your own sign. You no longer look outside for validation. You look within and find everything. As the final rays of the supermoon fade into the horizon, take one breath and realize you've made it through the collapse, the tests, the silence, the transformation. You've proven that faith doesn't just survive darkness, it creates dawn. You are the dawn now. You are the sign others will look for when they forget what awakening feels like. You are living proof that miracles favor the brave. Moon and lightning bolt.